Hello and welcome to this new video on image classification using PyTorch. In this video, we'll learn about the full cycle of an image classification problem from the setting up of the project structure to model training and inference. And we'll try to do all of this within 10 minutes, so keep watching till the end to learn about each step. This is how this video is structured. We'll set up the directory structure first. We'll then download a dataset, which is cats and dogs dataset from Kaggle. We'll use PyTorch to load data, build a convolutional model, then train this model, and run inference on a test dataset. This is an example directory structure which we can use. It has three main directories. Data directory contains training and test dataset. Models directory contains potential models, which will be saved during the training stage. Source directory contains code files to download and prepare data, the functionality to build and train models, and other useful utility functions. For the data download, we first need to install Kaggle API using pip install Kaggle command and set up API credentials in the .kaggle file. Then we run the following command to download the data as a zip file. After that, we run the following script in the data setup.py file to extract data from the zip file to our data directory. We can now see cats and dogs subdirectories for both training and test sets in our data directory. We create a custom dataset using cat-dog dataset class, which gathers images from the cats and dogs subdirectories from the training or test directories of data that we downloaded earlier. Then we specify the data transform. In this case, we resize the images to height and width of 224 by 224 pixels, then apply toTensor followed by normalization transform. We then shuffle the images to mix them and remove any order. Then we specify targets by looking at the file names. If the file name contains the word dog, it is set as 1, otherwise the target is set as 0. As you can see, we are trying to solve a binary classification problem. The underscore get item method then loads the image for a given index, applies the transformation, and returns the corresponding image and its target value. We can then write a simple function to create data loaders. We create a cat dog dataset instance and then feed this into PyTorch's data loader with a batch size option. An example of creating data loaders for training and validation data is shown in the custom dataset block. For the training data, we want to load all images in the folder. For the test data, in this example, we use the first 500 as validation set that we'll be using in the training process to evaluate hyperparameters. In the actual training example that we'll see in the later slides, we use the first 800 examples from the test data. Now we create a simple binary classifier based on nn.module from PyTorch. It has three convolutional layers for feature mapping and one fully connected layer for classification. The convolutional layer starts with three input channels as it is an RGB image. Output channels for the first convolutional layer is 8, kernel size is 3, stride of 1, and padding equals 1. The output shape coming from this layer will be 8 by 224 by 224, which can be obtained using this formula here. Then we have a ReLU activation and max pool 2D layer that halves the image width and height to 112 by 112 pixels. In the fully connected layer, we flatten the output from the last convolutional layer, which in this case is 32 by 28 by 28. And there is only one output of the fully connected layer since this is a binary classification problem. We use a sigmoid activation after this. The forward method is very simple. The input passes through the convolutional layer, and then for the fully connected layer, we flatten the layer. Next, we initialize our model and use the summary method from Torch info to see more details about the model for a given input, which in this case is 32 by 3 by 224 and 224. 32 is the batch size here. We can see the total number of parameters, which is 31,121, and the estimated total size of the model will be 199 megabytes. So this is a relatively small model. Then we can also have a utility function to save the model, which we'll use during training, which is coming next. The train function takes model data loaders, optimizers, a loss function as arguments. We also need to provide how often we want to save the updated model during training. And when we do that, what would be the model name? We have a results dictionary to store training and validation loss and accuracy metrics. Then for each epoch, we run the training step, which updates the model parameter, and a test or validation step to evaluate how well the model is performing with the current hyperparameters. Then we print the loss and accuracy metric, and if the validation loss is smaller than the training loss, we save the model. Finally, we return the results dictionary. This is how the code looks in train.py file. We create an instance of the model and specify hyperparameters and then run the training loop and save model and the corresponding hyperparameters. This is the command we use to provide hyperparameters and start module training. Once the training finishes, we can look at the accuracy and loss. In this case, the model is overfitting, but that's okay for this video. In actual model training, we need to come up with different solutions or strategies to avoid or minimize this overfitting. In the inference step, we use the trained model to predict on unseen data. As you can see, we are creating a new instance of binary classifier and then replace its state dictionary with the ones we saved after training. Then we apply the data transform and use the trained model to predict on unseen data. The predict function is in engine.py file and looks like this. This is how the current model performs on unseen data. One of the images of dog is wrongly predicted as cat. Again, this is not the final model, so we are not concerned about the accuracy in this video. With this, we conclude our video. We have seen the full process from setting up the project structure, downloading and preparing data, building and training a convolutional model, and then using this model for inference. There is also one more important part, which is the deployment of our model, which we did not discuss in this video, but it may show up in the coming videos. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.